So you might not realize this, but the way people approach buying and selling a home at the same time is completely backwards. You're told to sell first, but then you're like scrambling to find your next place. Well, what if you find a buyer for your home and you haven't found a place to buy? Or what if you find a place to buy, but you haven't sold your home yet? What if I told you there was a way to buy before you sell, so you control the process, you control your timeline, and you can even tap into your home's equity that you're selling before you sell it, so you can access some of that money to use towards your down payment. My name is Justin Lopatin. I'm one of the top mortgage lenders in the country. I've been helping people buy, sell, and refinance for over 20 years. So if you're a homeowner feeling trapped right now or just not sure how to navigate the buy-sell process, I'm going to break it down in this video, and I'm going to give you a strategy that most banks are not offering right now. So the main challenge most people are in right now is they have a home to sell, and it's likely they can find a new home to buy before they sell the home that they want to move out of. So how do they get their equity? How do they qualify to carry 2 mortgages? For most people, it doesn't work. Most people don't show enough income on paper to have 2 $400,000 mortgages or 2 $500,000 mortgages. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is if you find the new home to buy, your equity that you want to roll over to the down payment is in the home you need to sell. Well, how do you get it out unless you sell first? There's a strategy for that. Most home buyers end up having to make what's called a contingent offer, which means they want to buy a home, but it's contingent on selling their departing residence. So we call it a home sale contingency. And most sellers are like, no. I don't want to wait for you to wait for someone else to buy your home. And what if you can't find a buyer for your home and then you end up not buying my home? I just went into contract with you. Now 60 days has gone by and I just wasted all this market time waiting for you to wait for someone else to buy your home. You follow me on there? At the end of the day, it gives you really no leverage. You have no leverage as a buyer if you need to sell your home before you can buy the new home. And if you have no leverage, you can't negotiate strongly. Those sellers may take backup offers. So let's say they do accept your offer. They might take a backup offer a week or 2 later and literally just kick you out and go, hey, we got a backup offer. There's no sale contingency. Thanks, but no thanks. Good luck selling your home. We're selling it to these guys who don't have a home to sell or who don't need to wait for their home to sell. So the solution to this is Origin Point's Buy Before You Sell portfolio mortgage program. Origin Point is a company that I work with. We have a program that helps buyers in this exact situation get some equity out, qualify to carry 2 mortgages temporarily, make a strong offer that's not contingent on their sale. It's a very unique program, and it's helped a lot of people get out of this tough situation, get offers accepted, and then have a plan to navigate. So how does this actually work? So we need you to have intent to sell. Either the property's listed or you're going to list it within 90 days of closing on the new home. We need to make sure that you have 20% equity in the home that you're moving out of, and we verify that with an appraisal. So we do an appraisal on the home that you're going to sell. And number 3 is, based on the structure and the type of down payment and some other variables, we need to make sure you have anywhere from 6 to 12 months of mortgage payment reserves, carrying costs in case you need to carry both properties over a 6 to 12 month period based on the market dynamics you're in. We don't need that money. Like, you don't have to deposit it with us. We just need to verify you have it. So think retirement account, IRA, brokerage account. Could be just a savings account, right? So we got to say, hey, show us a bank statement. Okay, you got it. Perfect. That's how we verify reserves. Once we've qualified you to buy before you sell, now we need to structure the financing for your new purchase. So how do we do that? Well, number 1, we need to make sure you have a minimum credit score. Usually we want to see around 660 to 680. Number 2, you have a minimum down payment on the new purchase of 10%. And we have to help you figure out where to source that down payment. Meaning, do you have that money saved up? Or do we need to help you get some equity out of the home you're selling, either through a bridge loan or a home equity line of credit? So it's a second loan that we get. We get you money out of the home that you're selling. You can't take all the equity out, but we can help you take a chunk of it. So that way you have at least 10% down for the new purchase. And then after you sell, a few months later, whatever additional cash you made on the sale, if you want, you can pay down the mortgage on the new property even further. So this is the buy before you sell. This is our bridge loan strategy that helps people make confident moves and helps you avoid a home sale contingency so you can make an offer, get it accepted, negotiate with leverage, and eventually sell the home you're moving out of. Most banks do not offer this. It's a phenomenal program. So let's take a look at a real life example. Each month we help 2 or 3 people minimum that are going through this process because most buyers have a home to sell, at least at this stage in my career. That's what I'm seeing. So last month we had a young family. They were moving from Miami. They were selling their small little kind of starter home, and they were moving up north to Jupiter, about an hour and a half, 2 hours away, for some more space, for better schools, or just to be in a neighborhood, in a community. So they had to buy before they sold. They couldn't sell their home in Miami. Homes in Miami are sitting for 6 to 9 months. So obviously they found the new home in Jupiter before they sold the home in Miami. I think they tried to get pre-approved with the local bank and it didn't work because A, they didn't have the equity for the down payment. B, they didn't qualify to carry 2 mortgages at the same time. So the realtor referred them to us. They fit the criteria because they already listed their home. They had 20% equity. And between the two of them, they had money in their 401k to meet the reserve requirements. So the solution was we got them a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, out of the Miami property. They had, I think, around $250,000 of equity. We got them about 120. They took that 120. They put it at least 10% down. They were buying a $950,000 home. So they needed about 95 grand. So they put 10% down on the $950,000 home in Jupiter. The remaining money from the HELOC, they took about 120 out. So they had about 25K left. That covered all their closing costs, taxes, etc. They closed on the purchase and their property just went under contract in Miami. So they'll be selling that home. They'll make another 120 grand once the HELOC and their first mortgage is paid off. And they're going to take that 100K and change and they're going to pay down the balance a little bit more on the Jupiter home. So their mortgage payment drops and they end up having a full 20% equity in their property. It's an awesome strategy. They were super excited because on the purchase that they were making, the seller would not accept a home sale contingency. And you know what's crazy? Like a home could be listed and sitting for 3, 4, 5 months, right? Meaning you got a pretty desperate seller. Even if a home is sitting for 3, 4, 5 months, most sellers still will not accept a home sale contingency because they don't want to wait for you to wait for someone else to buy your home. It's just the nature of the market. So a lot of questions I get after I explain this process to home buyers or to realtors is like, what's the next step? Like, how do we figure this out? I need to buy and sell or my client needs to buy and sell. The next step is pretty simple. We do a basic intake. So I take a pre-approval questionnaire from you. We understand kind of what your current mortgage balance is, what your home's worth, what type of income and assets you have, what type of credit do you have. So we look at these different details. We talk with you and your realtor. We collectively put a strategy in place. So by the time we're done with the analysis, we can confidently confirm that you're pre-approved to purchase a new home before you sell your old home. And we can get you some equity out so you can make a strong offer without a home sale contingency. That's how you stay in a leverage position when you're negotiating as a buyer. So if you've outgrown your current home or the seasons of life are changing where you need a little bit more space, you need to relocate, you need to move, essentially you need to buy before you sell, we have a solution. Reach out, let's connect, I'll help you think it through, and we'll get alignment so you actually have a plan instead of just being in this awkward, uncomfortable, logistic, kind of transition. So if you want to see what you qualify for and exactly how much equity you can unlock, click the link below. Let's schedule a 15-minute call. I'll help you map out a plan that works in your market because every market is a little bit different right now.